It appears to have taken over the atmosphere in Nigeria and other West African countries. Harmattan, alongside its cold, dry and dusty wind, comes with health and safety issues. This week, Health News brings you tips on how to cope with this dry season. Welcome to the show. I am Yomi Otaigbe. I guess you're feeling the cold, dry weather too, but where is the Harmattan wind coming from? Take a look at this report. Harmattan, the cold, dry wind blowing over the West African sub-region, comes from the Sahara Desert into the Gulf of Guinea. The northeast wind is stronger between the end of November and the middle of March. In the thick of things, temperatures can easily be as low as 9 degrees Celsius. However, sometimes in the afternoon, the temperature can soar as high as 30 degrees Celsius, while the relative humidity drops under 10%. The Harmattan season differs from winter because it is characterized by cold, dry, dust-laden wind, while the cold in winter is chilly and most of the time comes with snow. On its passage over the Sahara, the wind picks up fine dust and sand particles. The dust particles settle on virtually every surface. Everywhere looks dusty and brown. In some countries in West Africa, the heavy amount of dust in the air can severely limit visibility and block the sun for several days, comparable to a heavy fog. Welcome back. I now have with me in the studio a medical practitioner who is also the medical director of Isolo Estate Clinic, Dr. Olatunde Olosumade, and we'll be talking about how all of us can stay safe this Harmattan season. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Let me ask you this question. How easy or difficult was it for you to get out of bed this morning?
It's more difficult because it's colder. It's much colder.
So it was difficult?
Difficult for everybody, most especially children.
Okay, so that is to say you're enjoying the season.
What?
Should I take it like that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's enjoyable. It's better than the hot, humid season.
Okay, I don't know if some people will agree with you, but with this cool, dry weather, comes some health implications. I know for some people who are asthmatic, it may be a trying period for them. So let's talk about some of these conditions that can be aggravated at this time.
Well, thank you. The condition we are talking about is actually the Harmattan season. And the effect it has can be direct and indirect, health-wise. The tendency to have accidents from fires, from lack of visibility, driving on the roads, are some of the things that can, at the end of the day, impugn on people's health from accident-related, even economically. A lot of flights are cancelled because of poor visibility, and indirectly it will eventually affect the health of workers. There are some conditions that they are already pre-existing. Only the Harmattan condition will make it worse. Let me just say that the biggest organ in the body is the skin. And the organs that are going to be affected by this Harmattan condition are organs that are in direct contact with the atmosphere. The major problem is that because the humidity of the air, the air is drier, what we call insensitive loss, that is the water that is lost from the skin that we cannot see, is about tripled. And what I'm talking about is about up to 3 liters per day. So for people who are sicklers, or people who
are living with sickle cell
disease, their tendency is that they lose water more in this season. The blood becomes more concentrated, and the incidence of sickle cell crisis is more. The slight advantage, the Harmattan has advantages and disadvantages. The slight advantage is that it becomes more difficult for mosquito to propagate themselves, the stagnant streams dry up, the low temperature is not favorable, so incidence of malaria drops at this time. Then the most important thing to also talk about is that people are susceptible to tract infection. Nowadays, you will see them with catarrh, with what we call pharyngitis and laryngitis. The voice is cracked, and some of them go as far back as to have pneumonia. And like I said earlier, some people who have chronic bronchitis, Harmattan season.
Bronchitis has to do with difficulty in the breathing, the lungs.
There's a persistent inflammation in their lungs. So they have, that's what they mean by chronic. It is there, it is persistent. When you now bring on Harmattan season, it worsens the situation.
That is not asthma.
It is not asthma.
Okay.
In fact, incidence of asthmatic attack is much more, because what is responsible for the haze that we see is actually the presence in the air of a lot of small dust particles, because these trade winds that is responsible for this harmattan actually passes over the Sahara Desert, picking up minute particles of sand as small as 5 to 10 microns, such that when you breathe them in, the defense mechanisms that are in the airway cannot deal with particles that are as small as that. That is why asthmatics, the incidence and the severity of the attacks is more, and people who come down with bronchitis, bronchopneumonia, a lot of chest-related complaints. As you quickly mentioned, the eyes. You know, the eyes are there, the dust gets into the eyes.
Easily.
You have what you call keratitis, that is the white of the eyes become red. You also have what is called conjunctivitis, that's the other aspect of the eye. You can also have
the one that is popularly called Apollo.
It is Apollo. It is conjunctivitis, but Apollo is an epidemic. When it comes, a lot of people have it. That is what is referred to as epidemic conjunctivitis. But this one comes with harmattan season. What is advised for the eyes is that it is good to know that some people already have allergic conjunctivitis. Those are the people that you see them most of the time. You even think they are involved in Indian hemp abuse. But it is like asthma. Your eyes can be allergic even to clean air. People like that, this season is terrible for them because they have watering eyes and they are always having eye problems recurrently. People like that are advised, again, there are medications that you can use, but you can actually physically protect the eyes by wearing sunshades to protect the eye. And I should not forget to mention the meningitis. Actually, the incidence of meningitis is more during the harmattan season, and it stands to reason that the droplet infection that is responsible for meningitis is assisted by the ambient condition, the dryness, the ability of the air to suspend smaller particles, some of which can actually be bacteria in suspension. That is why you have a lot of meningococcal meningitis incidents, and even occurring as epidemics in this season.
Okay, now let's talk about maybe trying to take them one after the other. You started with asthma. For instance, if someone, is asthmatic, what can that person do, especially at this time, aside from what that person may have been doing earlier?
It is good to say that the harmattan season has been with us. So a lot of asthmatics are already aware that they are going to expect more incidents of attacks. And some of them, in the spirit of primary prevention, who actually have had a sit-down discussion with their primary healthcare provider. How do I prevent or minimize the incidence of asthmatic attacks? The gold standard, if I want to go technical, is that there are actually medications that you can now be using on a daily basis that helps you to become less sensitive. Because when somebody has asthma, it just means that the airway is hypersensitive. Not only to dust, but so many other things. Animal dander, frying, and so many. So there are medications that they can use when harmattan season is coming that actually block or reduces the tendency of their airway to. Then the other aspect of it is that in inadvertent attack, they tend to get to the hospital or seek medical attention earlier, knowing fully well that it is the condition that actually predisposes them to more frequent attacks. And those attacks are usually worse attacks that people are not advised to attempt to treat themselves. If you have a mild asthmatic attack and you have inhaler, don't feel comfortable. Get to the hospital. Because by the time you use the inhaler and the inhaler doesn't work, you have wasted time. So these are some of the discussions that will have transpired between somebody who is a known asthmatic and his doctor.
Okay.
So they actually will have prepared for this season.
Okay, now let's move on to people, for instance, living with sickle cell disease. You said at this time, you know, they are prone to more crisis.
Dehydration.
What can they do?
What they do first is to realize that this season they are going to lose a lot of water from their skin. In terms of protective clothing, in terms of consciously increasing the amount of water they drink, that actually applies to everybody.
Yes, because I will say that, you know, we all are together in this.
Applies
yes.
to everybody. But if they can do some of these basic things, it prevents their tendency to have crisis. Then the crisis is caused by a lot of factors. Apart from dehydration, infections. It might be respiratory tract infection, or it might be a respiratory tract infection that spills over to become a blood infection. Also causes the crisis. So you can understand that even inhaling air that contains a lot of dusts can predispose them to infection and push them into having a sickle cell crisis. So that is why at the slightest complaint at this season, even if it is just mild fever, they should make sure they see a qualified personnel in the early stages before.
So that it doesn't graduate into something else and